All right, so I want to get some of y'all some tips on buying refrigerators when it comes to Facebook. You don't know, refrigerators is kind of my thing. Getting deeper and deeper, you know, into how to fix them, not just flip them. In my head. So for one, okay, so I went to buy a refrigerator the other day, and guy asked me to meet him at a house, and I asked him, "Can I plug it in?" And he was like, "No." He's like, because that you can the house doesn't have any more electricity. It's being remodeled now. I'm on my way over there. He keeps hitting me up on Facebook. Are you there? Are you 5 minutes from there? Are you when's your ETA? And he kept doing this, and he wasn't even there yet. So I get there, and it's on the west side, and peace to the west side, but there's just some places on the west side, you know. Anyway, the house is, of course, dark. It's terrible. We go in. He's like, "Don't mind the house," but the house is in shambles. It didn't look like it was being remodeled. It looked like it was abandoned. And I know this because when we go in there, it shows me the fridge, and of course, it had things wrong with it. One of the handle parts was gone. The inside of it was surprisingly clean. When we opened up the freezer part, it was a side by side. It was a razor blade at the top. I'll just point at the razor blade like never seen a razor blade inside of a refrigerator. Nonetheless, but then I turned it around because I said it's not that bad. It's got one dent. It's just not that bad. But I don't know if it works or not. Then I turned around and looked at the back of it, where at the bottom, you just want to take a look at that. If you can't turn it on, you want to take a look at everything that you can. When you turn it around and you see that that back panel has been off of it, it's not necessarily bad, but it means that somebody's been working on it or they lost it some kind of way. Now, they're made out of cardboard, so water gets to them. Boom, they go away. But if it's all ripped off and you can tell it's halfway hanging there, something's not right or something got in there that wasn't supposed to be. Then I look all around the floor in the refrigerator and you see mouse droppings. Rats or mice, and there's a lot of them. I've never seen that much in my life. And I told him, I said, I'm going to have to pass. And he said, why? I said, because, it had rats in it. So there's just some things you want to look at. I went to Dayton and the same thing happened. These people were trying to sell, a refrigerator for $250, and I looked at the inside. They told me I couldn't turn it on. I'm just like, okay, that's always a red flag to me. And then of course I look around back and I see mouse droppings in there. I'm not gonna buy a fridge if it had mouse droppings in there. Just not gonna do it, and neither should you. Now he ended up selling it because somebody might have wanted it for parts, or it might have worked. I don't know, but it's not my problem. So I'm just trying to tell you guys just some things to look out for. If it looks like that and it's at a low price, don't do it. And it might be a good fridge, but you might have more problems than what you want. Or if you see roaches, anything like that, you got to understand you could spray all day, but if the roaches get up in that refrigerator, they're going to go wherever you take that refrigerator to. So now you have roaches in your house. And some roaches are a lot more aggressive than others. They're just hard to kill. The normal raid and stuff like that just doesn't kill them. You know what I'm saying? Because they're getting immune to it. So I brought a fridge home, and then the next thing you know, my roaches were all over my wall. It took me a couple weeks to get rid of all of them, and I did because I hunted them down. You know what I mean? I didn't let this situation get out of hand. I constantly looked in my closet. I constantly came downstairs in the middle of the night. I constantly hunted them. I got rid of the fridge, and I hunted them down until there just were no more. So I was very fortunate and blessed on that area. So don't buy fridges if you see these problems. Now, as far as a nice looking fridge and you just don't know if it works or not, but you can't turn it on. Sometimes there is that situation. You know what I'm saying? But it's a nice looking fridge, and you get it home and it doesn't work. You know, uh, you can contact the buyer, even though sometimes the buyer will just be like, "Hey, that's your luck. This is Facebook." If I flip a fridge, I usually give people a warranty, 15 days. So if it doesn't work, boom, there it is. I can deal with them on that level. But you also have to understand, for those of you whose fridge went out, buying a new fridge may not satiate your whole problem. I've had situations where I went over the person's house. They bought the fridge. They was like, "Yo, your fridge doesn't work." I'm like, "I know those fridges work because I run my fridges." Go over to this lady's house, get to talking to them, and find out that they did some remodeling. So I pull out my meter and check to see if they're 120 to 122 or to 124 in all the sockets. Turns out the socket that they plugged the fridge in was only 70. Blew the whole fridge out, messed up the wiring in it, and I can't even fix it. I replaced everything that's supposed to be replaced in it. Spent over $300, and it still will not work right. So sometimes your fridge goes out. You got to check your wiring. That's happened more than once with me, where the wiring at somebody else's house was bad. So I sold a fridge to this lady. Fridge worked for like a month. She calls me up, says, "I know I'm past my warranty." It worked for 2 months. She said, "I'm past my warranty, but can you come and tell me what's wrong with it?" Came over there. Pretty much the same thing happened. Uh, I saw that her heating element was blown out, just like the other lady's heating element was blown out. Changed it, boom, put another heating element in it. It worked for a day, boom, no good. Then she started telling me how her uncle did her electricity in her house, how he did some whatever, and I was like, "Is he certified, bonded, licensed?" And all. She's like, "Nah, he just did some." Well, guess what? The socket's bad. Once that socket goes bad, it can mess up the wiring in the refrigerator, and no matter what you replace besides the wiring, taking it all the way apart, that fridge is just not going to work. So, just letting you guys know, some things about buying a fridge. If you do get to somebody's house and the refrigerator works, before you go to their house, matter of fact, tell them to put tell them to put water on both sides, because most of you don't carry around a temperature gauge, but if you want it, how cold you want it. And if they had it on for at least 24 hours, you know that it should be freezing on one side, and the other side it should be cool. Now the exact temperature varies, because if you got a situation where you have kids and you have ice cream freezes, has a lower temperature than ice. Okay, just had a customer bought a fridge from me, was complaining because his ice cream wasn't, and I was just like, turn the temperature down on the fridge. I haven't heard back from him since. So you got to understand some things about a refrigerator before you just go and buy one and, get ripped off, or think you get ripped off, because this guy was panicking because somebody ripped him off before, or think you're getting ripped off. You got to start asking a lot of questions, do a lot of looking around, do a lot of, sniffing around, see if you can smell any spray or anything like that, and it'll tell you if this has been infested before. Also, if you're going to get yourself one of them French door, one of them 3 doors, 2 door, side by sides, or 4 door, any of them big boys there, the filter, where the filter is, there's going to be a filter on the refrigerator side. You're going to take that filter, you're going to, when you look at it, especially if the refrigerator has been outside for a period of time, not in a storage unit, but if it's been in a garage, or it's just been out, on a driveway and they've had it out there for a month, I'm telling you now, pull that filter out. Just going to be a couple twists, just pull it out. And if you see any eggs any brown little eggs, there's a whole infestation of gnats that lived and died there. Most of the time, they're dead by now. The refrigerator still works, can still work just fine, but you can have a whole nest of them up in there. Now, you can still buy the fridge. They don't stop the fridge from working, but they're just a nuisance because once you pull that panel out, you're gonna find just nothing but eggs. So you're gonna have to take a hose and spray it before you take it in the house. Take that panel off, spray everything out. It'll get pretty much all of them out of there. Uh, then spray it with Raid or something. Put it back on. Boom. Put it in the house. It's your boy Tone 202. God loves you. So do I.